Hey guys, it's Lisa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is something that I haven't done before. I thought I would do a full houseplant collection tour video of my, not really house, of my unit. Show you guys all of the plants that I own, kind of where they live, how everything is all organized. So you'll see in this video that my house is teeny tiny. It's just one big room. I don't have much light and I don't have much space. So if there are some plants that you've seen in my collection before in previous videos and you don't see them in this video, it's probably because I've sold them or rehomed them because they didn't get enough light and they weren't happy for some reason. So just a disclaimer, I'm not going to show you guys the plants that are in my fish tank. I think I'm going to put that into their own separate video just to keep this video a bit shorter. But I will show you guys where my fish tank lives in connection to everything else in my household and show you the outside of it and all of that stuff. So yeah, without further ado, I think we will just get started. This is its full size, so you can see that it is really dark if I turn the lights off. And obviously you can see my prop tank here. So yeah, basically this house tour involves a couple areas. So I have my plant shelf here, which has plants on it. So that's one area. I've got my fish tank, which is my second area, which I'll include in a separate video. And then I've got plants in the kitchen at the back, so you can see them here, and then also behind the fish tank here, and then in the bathroom is more plants. So yeah, that's pretty much what my houseplant collection tour is going to involve. So yeah, I think we'll just start at the beginning in the doorway. So this is the first thing you see when you come in the house is my plant shelf. So yeah, we'll quickly go through that. Maybe let's start at the bottom. So down the bottom I've got the Scindapsus, which you guys would have seen in my latest haul video. So I actually think I need to repot it because, yeah, I don't know. I think it needs a repot anyway. But that is him. So he is a Scindapsus argyrius. Beside him I've got my Syngonium confetti. So here he is. You can see at the back he's got quite a few really spotty leaves, which is quite cool, and he is also probably due for a water, so he's a bit floppy. So normally when he gets floppy, that's when I know, cool, it's time to water. Right in the back here behind him is my Moonlight Peperomia, who's also overdue a water. So yeah, that's him. Above him we have my Pothos Enjoy, who is absolutely stunning. He's also probably due for a water, so I need to check him. Then we've got my Ludicea Discolor, so he is here. Some of the leaves are kind of fading a bit. I think that is just because he actually has about 4 growth points coming in at the moment, so I might need to fertilize him because I think he's just using a lot of energy on them. He's got a new growth point here, a new growth point here, and he's got, I don't know if you can see, but he's got one here, and one here. So he's got a lot going on at the moment. Beside him is my Syngonium Pink Sherbet. So this is new to the collection. So he is very beautiful. I only just got him a week ago. This is a new leaf since I got him. And then beside that is my Peperomia Hope. And she also needs water by the feel of her leaves. Above that we've got my other Satin Pothos / Scindapsus / Epiprimnum, whatever you want to call it. This is my the more common one, which is, can't even remember, Pictum, I think it is. He's also probably due for water. Beside that is my Albiflora Tradescantia. Not sure what's going on with these guys at the moment. For ages they were not considered to be illegal. Some people say they are. I haven't seen anything official saying that they are, so I don't know. If you know what's going on with that, let me know. Beside that is my Peperomia Scandens reverse variegated. So it's got green leaves and the variegation is on the inside. These were nowhere, but now I've seen them in a few places. So he is very cute. I love him because he is different. Then we've got my Begonia angularis. Beside that This is the original stem, and I've recently put a whole bunch of cuttings in the bottom here, so I'm hoping that they will grow up here and kind of fill in this spot here. So yeah, that's Angularis. Cool, top shelf. So we've got my Begonia Silver Limbo. This guy is so easy to know when it needs water because it just droops so much. So yeah, like the top leaf will be down on the ground, that's how much it droops. Then I've got my Begonia Edna Quartz. She's not too happy. I don't really know why. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll need to chuck her back into the prop tank. I took her out because I thought the prop tank was bleaching the leaves because it's quite light up here, but now the leaves are going really crispy. I've been trying to keep on top of the watering, so yeah, I don't really know what's going on with her, which is really annoying. This is my Begonia listata. This used to be a huge plant, but it got a bit of root rot and it lost most of the leaves, or I had to cut them off because they got so crispy. It's doing a bit better now. I just got to make sure I don't let it dry out too much. I think that was what was happening, but yeah. Then we've got my Iron Cross Begonia, who's just put out a new leaf, and I can't wait to see what she looks like when she gets bigger. We've got my Lemon Lime Philodendron right here. She's also due for a water. This is a pot made up of quite a few little cuttings, but I just love how she is such a different colour. She's like a little pop of colour on the shelf, and behind that is my amazing, beautiful, one of my favourite plants, my Stramanthe. So she is stunning. She has just been putting out really nice big leaves. So she's starting to mature, so you can see that this leaf is a lot bigger than the previous leaves, and this leaf is also a new leaf which has really nice variegation and is quite big. She is super easy to know when she needs water. All her leaves curl inwards like this, and then I'm like, cool, it's time for water. She does get thirsty quite a lot, but she does have like 4 or 5 growth points in there, so she's quite a full plant. In the back here I have got my, I'm not sure what it is, I think it's a Begonia Silver Dollar, but not 100% sure. Nobody's really been able to give me a proper idea on it. But he is really beautiful anyway. She's been a little bit fussy recently. I'm not sure why, just she keeps getting thirsty so fast, but she isn't due for a repot, so I'm not sure what that's about. So I've had to cut a few leaves off that have gone really gross, but she's still pumping out new leaves, so don't know. And then beside that is my Begonia Imperialis. I've just taken this guy out of the prop tank because, yeah, I don't know, I'm just going to see how it goes. I just can't get rid of all these crispy tips, and sometimes they break as well, like this. You can see it's been broken. I don't know if maybe the prop tank is drying out too fast, so that's why I've thought I'll try it out of the prop tank. I mean, I know they like lots of humidity, but maybe it's just drying out too fast. Its leaves come in looking beautiful like this, and then within a couple of weeks they will just be a crispy mess. So yeah, if you know what I'm doing wrong or have some advice, please let me know, because I love it so much, but I'm just so sick of it going crispy and looking like just terrible. And then beside that is my Peperomia Dalstedii. I've had this guy for quite a long time. It's a very cute Peperomia. Again, when I got this one, you couldn't even really get these in plant stores. Now they're everywhere. These become a pretty common plant. There's quite a few cuttings in here, and I also use cloning paste on it, and it loves cloning paste. It's probably the only plant that I use cloning paste on regularly, and it always puts out heaps more growth when I use cloning paste, so yeah. And I've never seen like any negative effects of using it like I have for some other plants. So yeah, that is the top shelf right there. I just gave this one a quick water because yeah, its leaves were a bit floppy, but yeah, that's the top shelf. I totally almost forgot to show you guys, I've also got my Peperomia, I don't know, it's often called Tetragona or Parallel Peperomia. So yeah, she is on the side here. Completely forgot about her. And I've got a jar of Micans propagating because I want to add them in with my Micans pot, but they're still propagating. So yeah, that is all the plants on my plant shelf here. But I also have a few around here, so if we come over here, this is my beautiful Satanthe tricolor. She is amazing. She gets hardly any light because, as you can see, the light is right here, and she's doesn't get really any light at all, but she is still growing, popping out new leaves all the time. This is a new leaf, like there's a new leaf. She's probably got a few more new leaves back there. Yeah, she's always growing, even though she gets hardly any light. And yeah, I trim her quite regularly. But yeah, I love her. She's one of the first plants I ever owned. And she's going strong. And then to the side, we've got a regular peace lily. Actually, it was given this from work as a gift. Recently, I haven't really done anything with it. I don't know what to do with it yet because I don't really have the space, but I think it can just stay here for now because they will tolerate low light spots. And behind that is my Duchess peace lily. So it's a bit hard to tell in this light because this is low light, but she has variegation. So might be able to see. Yeah, maybe I'll pick her up and I'll move her so we can have a look at what she actually looks like. We'll take her outside. So she has very faint variegation. So if we focus on this leaf, I don't know if you can see that, but new leaves come in with, there you go, you can see that one, with this light green kind of variegation, and then it darkens up as the leaf gets older, I guess you would say. So yeah, I think you can see that she has got like different tones of green. She would have would be a lot more pronounced if she had more light, but she does live in quite a low light spot, as you saw. But I don't really have anywhere else for her to live, so that's where she's living. That's where she's living for now. She kind of just gets a little bit of light from here, and if I pull the curtain back a bit further, then she gets a little bit more light. So I try to kind of push her as far as I can into the corner, but there's a whole bunch of PlayStation stuff behind there, so I can't. But yeah, so that is the front of my house, my plant shelf, and the couple of plants that live right around it. Next, if we keep walking towards the middle of the room, excuse my fly spray, there's so many flies at the moment. If we walk towards the middle of the room, I've got this beautiful picture here that I won in a competition. I believe, I do know who made it. I will put a little link somewhere so that you know who made it. She's beautiful. She does lots of watercolors and things like that of plants. Beside that is my rattlesnake Calathea, one of my OG plants. This is one of the first plants that I ever purchased. This is actually the plant that kind of sparked my love for plants. I saw it in a plant store one day. I thought it was beautiful. I didn't buy it. I couldn't stop thinking about her, and I went back and bought her. I've had a lot of problems with it in the past, but she is doing fine now. I figured out that the trick is just not to overwater her. She was getting too much water, and a lot of leaves were going brown and crispy and falling off. She's been doing really well recently, and I bought her a second one to add into her pot to make it a bit fuller. And she has been putting out a few leaves recently, very slowly, but yeah, she does. But she gets pretty much absolutely no light at all. There's a very, very, very low light spot. And above her is my fish tank, and I've got the grow light above it. I thought I'd show you where it is in situation to the room. And beside it is my partner's fish tank. He's got a whole bunch of random plants like growing there, like Fittonia and ferns and things like that. And we've actually got some fish. You can see that little guy there. There's a couple of little fish in there. And this is, yeah, my partner's, like I said. That sits beside my plant fish tank. And on the way into the bathroom, in this little corner, is my peace lily Domino. So you can kind of see some of the white variegation
This used to be a really lovely leaf, but it kind of got a bit brown, so I had to cut the top off and the variegation's gone yellow. But yeah, this is my peace lily Domino. It doesn't have heaps of variegation because it lives in such a low light spot, so it doesn't get really any light. The most light it gets is a little bit that comes through here, which kind of only touches a couple of leaves, and then the rest of the light is in the kitchen, which is around the corner, and then behind me, which is probably more than 6 meters away. So yeah, very low light spot. She's lived in this corner for about 2, maybe 3 years now, and she does keep growing. She doesn't like thrive, but she is still growing. She's actually got a new leaf on the way right here, and you can see that it's got some variegation. You can see that there's going to be some variegation. So that, yeah, they do keep putting out leaves of variegation, but they just get really faded after a while because there's not enough light, really. So yeah, one day when we have a house, I will definitely move her to a brighter light situation, and she should be a lot happier there. But yeah, she's the only thing that can survive in this little dark corner, so I just leave her there. And she's one of the first plants I ever got, so I would... yeah, I just can't even imagine getting rid of her. She has to stay in my collection. Okay, so this is my bathroom. It's honestly really tiny. So as you can see, I have some plants on the sink. There's not much space, unfortunately. So they always get toothpaste on them, especially these two, because the toothpaste is beside it. So if you see any white spots on any of these plants, it's not a pest, it's literally just toothpaste. So anyway, this is the first plant. So you guys have seen him before. It is my Maranta rabbit's foot, or Lacunura, I think it is. That's how you pronounce it. So he is beautiful. I really love him. I've had him for a long time. He used to have a very long, like 2 or 3 very long kind of vines, but I cut him up and propped him and put all the cuttings back in here, and now he's nice and full, which I love. Over here is my other Maranta. It is the Maranta Silver Band. I've recently just repotted him because he was not too happy, and I've added some cuttings back in. These are some new leaves. You can see he's got a bit of crispy bits, but that's okay. I'm not really too fussed. I've got him in this clear pot now so that I can see what the soil is doing a bit better, as I couldn't before. He is absolutely covered in toothpaste, but I love him. He is so cool. Like, just the leaves are so beautiful. I love how black they are, and here's the comparison between these two. So definitely different plants. Okay, next is my Calathea mosaica. So he's actually doing pretty well. He's in this clay pot as well. You can see his roots. So when I got this guy, he was probably 3 or 4 leaves. He's grown a few leaves since I got him and brought him home. And I did cut a couple off because they weren't very nice. But like, I think this is a new leaf. And I think this might also be a new leaf. So yeah, every like maybe once every 2 months, he'll just pop out like 2 leaves at a time. So yeah, he's doing okay. And then on the corner here is my Maranta Makoyana. She just popped out a new leaf. I think it was this one, like in the last week. She's pretty slow growing because this corner doesn't get much light because the window is right above it. So if you can see here, she's literally in the corner, so she gets kind of a very filtered light. All of these guys get quite filtered light. This one probably gets the most bright light because it kind of comes straight down there, and then it gets darker as we go along. So yeah, it used to be in an even darker spot, and she didn't put out any new leaves for about a year or more, so she's doing a lot better here. She's actually putting out leaves. And I was starting to get lots of crispy tips, but that has stopped since I moved her over here into the bathroom where it's also a bit more humid. I just love the pattern on her leaves though, aren't they stunning? She's beautiful. I love my Makoyana, and she is pretty easy care as well, I would say.
So up here in this dark little corner, I have this random little shelf. I did try putting a few different plants on it, but none of them really liked it. This is the first plant I've put there that actually likes it. So it's my golden pothos. I just cut her actually. So she was down to about here. And I've cut all of that off, so now these vines are kind of equal, and I'm going to propagate the cuttings that I took from down here and put them back into the top of the pot, because the top of the pot isn't the most full. And so yeah, I'd like a few more kind of vines trailing down there and filling in kind of the gaps. But she's doing really well. This is from Plant Project, so these big leaves are kind of the leaves that she came with. So even though it's a very low light spot, she's still growing. And then the last lot of plants in this bathroom are my Hoya Collection. So they live on this frosted windowsill up here. They get quite a lot of morning light. And then this bathroom is really dark in the afternoon. So from probably like 12, 1 o'clock onwards, it's quite dark in here. But the mornings, they get quite a lot of light. It would be direct light if this window wasn't super frosted. Okay, so I decided to just get on a ladder and show you guys the plants that live up here instead of bringing them all down, because it will take a while. I'm not going to go into heaps of detail about each of them because I'm going to talk about them a lot more in my actual Hoya Collection video, but I'll just kind of briefly say what I've got up here. So I've got my Neo Iberica and my Nicholsonia here in the corner. Behind that we've got my Hoya Lacuminosa. Then we've got my Crimson Queen beside her. And then, if you can see, that's my Erythrina. I've got a Cinnamomophilia back here, and gosh, if anyone has any idea how to get leaves, like, it just never puts out leaves. It's starting to right now, but it probably will just drop it. It seems to be what it does. We've got Hoya Diptera, and then Hoya Australis Lisa, my Hoya Gutensis times Allegorium. See if I can focus on the label so you can see what it says. That's from what's the name? From Cis. I've got my Hoya Carrii, variegated fishtail, my Regalis, which keeps only putting out white leaves. Billabata. We've got Itopensis back there. Bertoniae, who's just putting out a leaf for the first time, and Acuta. And behind the Australis is my Hoya fungi and my Obovata. So you guys can see I've got this these cork mats down, so to save space because saucers take up a lot of space. I've just put these cork mats down, and then it just captures and absorbs the last little remaining bits of water from when I've watered them. So obviously I let the water drain out as much as possible first, and then pop them back on there, and then that absorbs the rest. But it can get really gross after a while, so yeah, just keep that in mind, you might need to change it regularly. But yeah, that's all the Hoya that live on my windowsill. It's probably like a third or maybe half of my collection lives up here, and the rest of my Hoya are the few that were in the kitchen, and then the rest are all in the fish tank. So yeah. Okay, so at the back of the house we've got all of my plants here. I thought I would show you guys now because this is the best time to see them, because the light is on this side of the house. Normally in the afternoon it's on the other side, and this side is really dark and you can't see anything, so this is a good time to show you guys. So up on the fridge I've got quite a few props going. Some of them are almost ready to pot. They're kind of in various stages. Some aren't rooted, some are semi-rooted, some just need a little bit longer, and some are almost ready. I really want to move these away and put another plant up here, but at the moment the light is just a bit too bright up. If I put props on the windowsill, they tend to get a bit burnt. So yeah, I need to kind of get rid of most of these props and then maybe put the rest up on the windowsill. Behind there is my beautiful Friedeck or Michelsonia, whichever one it is. I don't really know. It just put out this new leaf recently, which is stunning, and it's got this other leaf and a smaller leaf back here that you can see.
But obviously this is the best leaf at the moment. It just grew and it's a lot bigger than the other one, so that is really awesome. Right in the back I've got my Syngonium macrophyllum, so I'm actually just propagating this at the moment because there is this massive empty patch on the front here where it lost a few leaves from, I guess, underwatering. I took a tip cutting, which you might have seen in another video, I can't remember, and I'm trying to root it, but it's been in this for ages and the leaves are getting all floppy now. So yeah, I'm worried that I'm gonna lose it because I really want to put it back into the front there, but it hasn't done anything rooted. So I'm wondering if I need to just move it into fern fibre maybe and see if that helps. So yeah, I'm considering doing that because yeah, the leaves are going all floppy and starting to go yellow, which is not ideal. It's probably been in this vase of water for about a month, maybe 2 months now, so quite a long time, and it's done absolutely nothing. There's no root. So yeah, that might be what I do next. So then we've got my lichens up here. Bring him down for you guys. So he is really messily on this pole. I just was so bad at this. I don't know how to do it. I have heaps more cuttings to put in though, and kind of hopefully fill it up. So yeah, he lives up there, and then behind him is my Crimson Princess. She is beautiful. You'll see her more in the Hoya Collection video, but she's always lived up there. Here we've got my Hoya fishtail. Again, you'll see it a bit better in the Hoya video, but he sits up here, and then behind him is my monkey mask, which I just put on a pole recently, and I've got a lot more cuttings to pop back in there, but they're still rooting because yeah, there's a lot of blank spots, so I don't really like how that looks. So that's what's on the top of my fridge, but I really need to reorganize it a bit. In winter autumn, the fishtail will probably go on the windowsill when it is not so bright. On the windowsill, I might have to bring things down so you can see. I've got this little tiny pine tree that my partner gave to me at Christmas time. He said we can grow a Christmas tree, it's quite cute. Then I've got, I'll bring them down because it's really bright up there. Up there I've got my Dioscorea. He's putting out some new leaves. He lives up there. It's quite a direct bright light. Beside him I've got my Hoya shepherdi. It's putting out a new leaf, which is exciting. I decided to move it up to there because it's quite bright, and I think that just going off of how thick the leaves are that it can probably handle it. Beside that I've got my heartleaf. I'll bring him down for you. My heartleaf. Pop him here. My heartleaf philodendron. I've got a whole bunch of cuttings, rooting, propping, that are going to go in the top up here, make him fuller on the top. But he's doing pretty good. He's quite full down the bottom, which is nice. And yeah, he seems to have adjusted to, he's lived in the direct light spot all summer, so he seems to be now used to that light. He's not getting burnt anymore, and the leaves have stopped fading. So yeah, that's kind of cool. He's like so used to it up there now. He doesn't even get burnt. Beside that is my variegated chain of hearts. I'll bring her down in a second. Then I've got my Hindu rope. You can see him pretty good from here. I won't bring him down, but you'll see him a bit better in my Hoya video. So I'll bring my variegated chain of hearts down for you guys. Here she is. She is doing so well. Just so many leaves. It's so full at the top here. I have to keep putting them on the top because when they hang down the side they don't get any light, and then they go like this where they're like white and they lose their colour. So yeah, I've just been chopping off the white ones when they grow, but I love her. She is stunning. love, 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 love. And I know people say not to put them in direct light, but she is fine. Like, she does not mind at all. I've not had her getting burnt at all. Under rope, we've got my Brazil and then my China part. So I will bring them down for you, but then there you go. You know where they live. So this is my Brazil. Put her down here for you. She is wild. I just gave her water yesterday because she was so thirsty. So yeah, that's the Brazil. I kind of like how messy she is. I don't know. This plant that lives in the kitchen is my regular chain of hearts. So that's what it looks like on the top. It's in this like green kind of cute pot. And then I trim this like all the time. It gets really long, really fast. It's actually got a few yellow leaves, so I'll probably just pull them off. You can see it's like putting out little bulbs all over the place. So those normally go back into the soil, but obviously I can't because it's so traily. I've thought about getting rid of her a few times, but then I just can't. I can't do it. I don't know why, but I love the top, how chunky the leaves are up the top. So yeah, it's all the plants that are in my kitchen at the moment. So they're mostly above the fridge, and then I've got a few on the windowsill that are just there because they can actually handle being in direct light. In winter time and autumn, sometimes I move other things up there. But I think if I move any more, it'll be quite crowded, so I might have to just leave it as is. But yeah, so that is my kitchen. I don't know if you guys can tell, but behind these plants is a shed, so that is actually ground height, so we will see people's feet like walking along there. It's because we're the bottom story of a house, and so we're like the garage and then us beside the garage. So, and then upstairs is the main living space. So yeah, that's actually ground height, which is why this house is so dark, because we get hardly any light, because it kind of doesn't reach very far into the house because it's on like a downwards angle. So the floor below me gets really bright, and then we get to about, what's that? Oh, that's a leaf. And then we get to about here, and then it's just no light, dark, and the rest of the house is really dark. So yeah, that is all the plants in the kitchen. Sometimes I put things like up here, but I haven't for a while because they don't really get much light. Oh, and this is an outside plant, but I thought I would just show you guys him and include him in this video. But this is my string of fish hooks, or string of bananas, whatever you want to call him. So he lives just outside on my veranda in this quite a direct light spot, but he has grown really used to it now. He used to have really dark purple leaves, but now he has adjusted to the light, and he is growing really well. He's growing so fast. These were only like this long not that long ago. So yeah, that is the last plant that I'll show you guys in my collection, but he's doing really well outside, so that's exciting. Cool, so that is all the house plants in my collection, minus my fish tank, which, yeah, keep in mind will be in a future video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Maybe you got some inspiration, maybe you added some plants to your wish list. I don't know, let me know in the comments down below if you did. And yeah, I will see you next time. Bye!